at the end of the day, selling is transferring a feeling. If you don't have the feeling, you can't transfer it. If you don't have a good, positive feeling, dude, you're an actor. You have to sell and run your business from a place of positivity. And however you get there, God bless you.
It's episode 31 with the one and only Jeff Giagnocavo. How to create your big ticket life. Welcome to the show, Jeff. But before I even let you say hello, I have to say, I got to get the bills paid, dude. That's what I got to do. Thank you to Sell a Million for sponsoring, and also the Mattress Industry Network Group. And a quick and fun story. So Jeff said, there's this group. You got to join this group, Pete. Great group. Got to join it. Got to join it. Sure, I'll join it. Pete, you didn't join the group. I sent you an invite. Pete, you didn't join the group. And this nudging is going on for like months. Months. And finally, Jeff went full bore Italian on me. And he just said, Pete, I don't understand. I really don't get this. What is going on with you? That guy, it's that guy. I don't want to be in that group with that guy. He's like, what guy? I tell him the guy's name. He goes, that's not the guy. So I've been in the group. I love Steve. I love everybody in the group. And Jeff, thank you for turning me on to the Mattress Industry Network. It's been a great group for everybody that's in it. It does shorten the learning curve for any store owner or any RSA. Anybody in retail should be in that group. They really should be. And it's a group that is run by retailers for retailers. And that's what really makes it different. And you've got some really high level people in there. I mean, you got guys like Jeff, who's out there recruiting for them, obviously. And you've got owners of manufacturers in there. You've got VPs of sales. You've got all kinds of people in that group. So thank you for sponsoring my show, Mattress Industry Network. Thank you, Steve. And I know you can't watch today, but you'll catch it on the replay. Make sure you like the video so that we get more playthrough. So Jeff, you really had to hound me on that one, didn't you?
I did. I mean, look, it's persistence and follow up, which are things I preach. So yeah, I mean, and full blown Italian can also be known as a Category 5 Jeffisode. So we didn't quite. I don't think we quite hit there, but there was a definite warning.
And
what's this guy's problem? You got to smack him around a little bit.
Yeah, full blown Irish too. It's the same thing. It's all the same. It's all the same.
Yep.
We're all capable of that. So Jeff, dude, you have been on a creative tear that, listen, from the moment I met you, it was in Florida. And I remember it was another guy. There was another guy that introduced us who won't be mentioned.
The guy at the place.
The
other thing.
The guy, he's dead to us. Anyway, there was a guy. He introduced us. Anyway, and I wanted to approach you at the end of the conference. And so I'm all pumped up and I thought, this is just awesome. I'm going to go, and, really kind of, get to know this Jeff dude a little bit more. And dude, you were sitting there, you were writing as fast as you could. And I could tell you were in that rarefied zone. And dude, your hand was moving so fast that literally if you had 3 secretaries, you could have kept them all busy. And I know that feeling. And I thought about it and I just walked away. And then we hooked up later and I came to your store and I've always been impressed by your attention to detail. I've always been impressed with your vision for your store. Something has changed and you have gone into like this whole other realm. It's beyond anything that I've ever seen with any business owner. Your focus is actually scary, dude. What happened?
Well, I mean, it's all intentional. You know, what you witnessed in Florida was no different than what I did this week while on vacation. It's what I do every day, every morning. You know, a big part of power players' success in this world is about being intentional and truly. We've all heard it. You have to work on your business, not in your business. Well, so few. I mean, everybody hears that like, yeah, that's great. That's a great idea. I'm going to do that. But then they don't work to set boundaries. They don't work to scheme and plug in those moments every day to work on their business. And there's ways to do that. You know, one of the ways that I do it, just one of the many ways, but you know, we're a retailer. We get pallets into our dock. The pallet's got to go somewhere. I have a little route that I take. It takes 90 minutes till it's said and done to dispose of them. You would think on the surface that's a terrible thing for a business owner to do. Jeff's not living what he's preaching. He's not doing what he's practicing. But the reality is, it works on a number of levels because it saves us payroll dollars. It helps our flow so much out in the operations side of things. And I use that 90 minutes. I listen to podcasts and I stack them up. I'm like, this will work for this moment this week. And it's multi-pronged, and it's plugging into the week, the month, the schedule, this intentional time to work on the business. So what you saw in Florida, that was that. What I did this last week in upstate New York while camping, both the camp neighbors on either side of me commented, they're like, dude, do you like speed read? And I do. What are you typing? I've never seen anybody sit and type for an hour. And, you know, I just kind of explained what I do and kept them at bay so they wouldn't interrupt me. But I put time blocks on all that stuff. And I told the family, like, hey, I'm getting up at 7:30 or 7 o'clock this morning or whatever time it was. Breakfast is at 10, you know, because we always eat late because we have a big breakfast and then we'll do a big later dinner. And, you know, like working in those chunks, it's all got to be very intentional to work on the business. And it's really what powers everything you've seen. You've been gracious enough to comment on. I appreciate the accolades, but without it, you can't get there.
So one thing, you know, you mentioned time blocks, and anybody who's anybody in time management, and time management's a misnomer because you can't manage time, right? You can only manage yourself. But to me, the most important word is no. You have to be able to say no to a lot of things, often to your own little quirks, often to your own little butterflies that you start chasing. And you know, staying focused and creating opportunities for you to work on something specific is kind of the roadmap, kind of how you kind of get to that place where you can work on your business. I guess the next big piece of that is you have to be a really good manager. I mean, for you to be able to work on your business, that means that you've had to invest so much time into your people and giving them feedback on a regular basis that you know that they're doing their jobs. Because if they're not doing your jobs, that's how most owners get sucked into all the day-to-day stuff. It's like a vacuum.
Yep.
And I when I go to stores, I see it happening all the time. And I'm like, oh man, there it goes.
Yep. Well, and one thing I'll share on that, you know, I have a business partner, Ben. You know, he's the yin to my yang, the vice to my versa, whatever you want to call it. We're like the dynamic duo. I am Batman, though. Sorry, Ben.
Ben, he just called you Robin.
But, you know, the reality is, so I left the store in June. No. Yeah. Because I was off the week of the 4th. And then I did a lot. I putted around home with a lot of projects, which again, those projects looked like, you know, kind of wasting time. It didn't look like much, but I got to tell you, man, there was a lot of thought, a lot of thinking done doing those projects. I did pop back into the store 2 Fridays ago from today to do a training on our massage chair program that we brought in because I felt it was important to be there with the team for that. I get back there's not a stack up. There's like nothing. I'm walking around the store this morning, like it was kind of weird. I'm like looking for things to be wrong, and there wasn't anything wrong. In fact, it's like the best the store has ever looked. The warehouse is in tip-top shape. Literally, like the only thing that we need to do is like tag a futon to put a different one on. That I created that issue while I was on vacation, because I really actually enjoy my queen size futon in the camper that I put in for extra room. I'm like, this actually isn't all that bad. We should be showing this. Like, that's the only problem. And it's not on Ben's desk either. I've checked with him, and when you invest in that team, it's one of the principles I talk about. Creating your big ticket life, your big ticket business, you've got to have great process. If you don't, you almost begrudge, you stress out about going on vacation. You're not present. You're scared of it. You don't like it because you're coming back to just a mess.
Right. There was a time in my life when I went on a vacation and it took me 3 days to unwind. 3 days to unwind, to come back to be a normal human being. And then when I went back to work, I was like a lamb to the slaughter. And it was just like, I can't leave. I can't leave.
Terrible feeling.
Who am I kidding? I can't leave. I knew I couldn't do this. And here it is. Look at this place. It's a crap hole. It looks like crap. I can't do this.
Yep.
And so whether, and I was just managing that business, but I've always kind of taken things probably a little more serious than I should. Anyway, I digress. So big ticket life, the biggest mistake that the average retailer, forget about industry, makes, that holds him or her back from achieving the big ticket life. The biggest mindset, the one thing that they do or they tell themselves is a truth that's not a truth, that holds them back from having a much more abundant big ticket life.
The number one thing that people are doing there is they are not setting the business up to serve them, pay them first, and remove themselves. One of the things I thought about, discovered, came up with, was this word CHIVO. CHIVO stands for the Chief Everything Officer. First two letters in chief, first two letters in everything, and then the O. So if you're a CHIVO, you're that person doing everything. You can't. You think you're the CEO, you think you're in charge. Really, you're just a slave to the grind of it all, and you're the head person in charge with really no benefit. So you've got to first get out of that CHIVO role, first and foremost, and you have to put yourself into this role of being an investor. This role of, I'm going to conduct myself as though I sat on the board of the company, as the president of the company, of some company I manage from afar on Wall Street, and I'm going to make decisions like the number one decision was shareholder value and growth. Because that's who you are in your own business. You're that direct person. The difference is, all of those people in the boardroom on Wall Street, they go to bed at night, they go to their high-rise apartment in Manhattan, they go to the Martha's Vineyard on their boat, and they forget about everything. And they're there on the holiday for 4 days. Business owners operating on most Main Street businesses, they don't get to do any of that. They don't get to leave any of that until they take that step and make the moves to go from CHIVO to investor. And you've got to be that investor in your own business. You have to conduct yourself like that. You have to make decisions like that. And if you're not doing it, you're not going to be able to really grab on to anything else to grow the business, which I've really kind of defined as a big ticket method. This roadmap centered around 3 points for you to reach that investor status. But without moving from CHIVO to investor, big ticket method, the methodology is really worthless.
So that's the very first thing that, I own a business, I own a store, and I'm waking up with a pit in my stomach. I don't even want to go into work because what did blah, blah, blah screw up? What did that? I'm going to have to fix everything. I've got to do all this stuff. And the very first thing that they have to do is switch from being the chief everything officer to being an investor in the company. They have to see themselves that way. And sooner or later, everybody else will see the change too, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it has to be that level of mindset. The one email that I did get over the last really 2.5 weeks was about a sale from the outlet, which we closed that store last summer. It was a carryover sale. Not really worth to get into all the details, but the customer is owed service from us. We'll give them that service. But the way it was presented to me was, here's what I'm proposing. This was from Andrew. Here's what I'm proposing we do. What do you think? Is this in alignment with what you would expect me to say? Whereas if we go back 2-3 years ago, it's, hey, this is a problem, you fix it.
Right.
Big difference.
Right.
Okay. Big difference. Big difference in myself, in the way that I've focused on my own leadership, the way my role exists within this company. And it transcends and translates into everybody else that's here. Everybody else takes extreme ownership as though they have equity in the business. And that's not just a statement. I mean, they don't have equity, but they are paid very, very well. And that's the kind of results that you get. It really comes down to that.
Yeah. And while it's important for people to make money, them feeling like they're creating something, them feeling like they're appreciated could be worth more than money to some people. Not everyone, but to some people. Everyone's got different priorities. But I'll tell you what, people who show their appreciation to their owners that show appreciation to their workers will find that they will get better work from them, and that they will get more loyalty from them, and they will actually start to set this person up for them to be all that they can be. Sounds like a Army commercial. Be all you can be. But I mean, at the end of the day, isn't that what we're doing with each and every person that comes under our tutelage, right?
That's right. I mean, as an example, I had a couple of referrals come in from social media while I was gone. And I've just turned those over to my team. And I tell people when they tag me in, which I very much appreciate, but when they tag me in, I'll reply to that person who's asking the question for the referral. I'll say, hey, you've got to visit my store. You've got to work with my team. And more often than not, it's like, well, can I work with you? And that answer is no. No, you can't. And here's why. You can't go buy, okay, we're in the mattress industry, right? But this is relevant to any Main Street business competing with Amazon and any other big online corporate equity-owned giant. Go buy a Casper mattress from Philip Krim. It ain't going to happen. Okay? And he's not even on the board. Like, he's the president of the company. So no, you can't work with Jeff, because my job 100% of the time is to ensure you as the customer have a 5-star experience. And as a matter of fact, because that's my sole focus, I actually feel as though I'm actually less able to best help the customers in our door, because my team works with everybody with all different kinds of situations each and every day. That's their number one focus. They're most tuned up. They're most at max capacity to help the best, not me. My job is to make sure they're there in that role to best help our customers. My job is to make sure I'm managing partner relationships. My job is to make sure our delivery crew is holding up the 5-star promise. Not answer the phone and sell a mattress for $1,000 or $5,000 or whatever it is. And when you phrase it that way to people, they don't mind at all.
Right.
I mean, our business exists to be open 73 hours. How Achivo cannot do everything. Can't happen. You'll never move to that investor level, answering this alarm here, this request there. Never going to happen.
Well, if you have committed to being a Chivo because you believe in some lies, that, you know, my question is, why are you the best salesman? You shouldn't be the best salesman.
You should have the best process to make the best salesman.
Exactly. I'm not the best salesman in my company. Not even close. Not it. I had two guys that are so much better than me. It's not even fun. It's ridiculous. And I'm very proud of that. The one thing that I'm proudest about when I look back as being a VP of sales twice, I was always able to hire people that were exceptional. And I always wondered why other VPs didn't do it. And because there are exceptional people out there. And I think that there's an insecurity that people have to get over. It's like, listen, you've been dealt these things, these cards, play them. And, you know, if I could create a employee who is better than me in sales, in you name it, it doesn't even matter what the category is, then I've done my job, right? Because I mean, my job is to leverage every human asset, right? Because if I do that better than anyone else, we win. Our team wins.
Yep.
And we create something that can't be duplicated. And one of the things that I love about Dan Kennedy is, you don't want a business that's easy. You don't want a business that's overly simple. If you have a business that's overly simple, then you have a business that's going to be easily copied.
Yep.
And so when you have a simple business, that in and of itself is the greatest Achilles heel to that business. Your business should be complicated. Your business, there shouldn't be any confusion on each person's part in your business. And that's one of those things that I say
commit to complexity, showcase simplicity.
There you go.
Okay.
That's it.
And, the communication of the big ticket life and the big ticket method, right? Which gives you the big ticket life. And I'll define that momentarily. It really is, it has to look simple, but you start peeling back the layers and you realize, holy crap, there is so much here. All right. Because listen, the big payoff for a business owner is that big Wall Street payday, right? Like, how in the world do these companies get so much money thrown at them? We all know the game. They build a brand. All they got to do is show top line sales. And in 5 to 7 years, the original people get tens of millions of dollars. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I like people that actually have to balance their checkbook each and every day. I like people that got to look their customers in the eye. I like people that deliver great work and a 5-star experience. That's who I want to serve with what I'm embarking on by writing the Big Ticket Life book that'll come out end of this year. That's what I want to do. That's the people that I want to work with, people that I get excited about. But how do you battle that? Well, if you're not going to get that big Wall Street cash, you have to make your business impervious to the equity funds, the big online people. Well, that begins to show true when you move from that Chivo to investor level status of things in your own business. And when you really commit to complexity, you have deep ingrained systems that guide every action in your business. It's not micromanaging. I don't deal with any of the stuff that I've talked about today and that I could possibly talk about. We create the process, the systems, and everybody follows it. It becomes our culture. It becomes what we do around here. And it looks very simple, but it's really not. you know. There's a lot of complexity to it, and we're committed to that. We're committed to every part, every piece in those steps in the process.
So give us more.
On complexity or on the next pillar?
On the next pillar.
Right. So again, I'll kind of reiterate. So moving from that Chivo to investor status, let's talk about that for a second, and then we'll get the other two in. So
Sure.
A lot of people wear that Chivo badge like a badge of honor. And listen, it is a righteous badge. There is nothing wrong with personality in your business. I use it, I do it. Okay. Nothing wrong with it at all. There is nothing wrong if you have a goal in life to have a very nice little business that pays your bills. You don't have to go work for somebody. I am not here to say that is wrong. I am here to say, if you're looking to go to a different level, I feel that what we're talking about today is the pathway to get there. All right. So this is not meant to like insult anybody or denigrate your business, denigrate where you're at in life, how you support your family, put food on your table. All of that is very righteous work. If you're looking to do more, looking to be bigger, dream bigger, live bigger, you know, not do those vacations where you regret going away, you know, nose down in the phone as Johnny hits the game-winning home run and you miss it. If you're tired of that kind of stuff, if you're not all that proud of the business you have, you're kind of like, I just do this. I just do septic tanks. I just do cabinets. I just sell mattresses. Yeah, if you know the work you do is really, really great and you know it impacts people's lives and you're looking for a way to be real proud of that, well, you know, keep listening. This is what we're talking about. This is about turning an everyday Main Street business into a big ticket business, into giving you your big ticket life that you earn. I don't say deserve, because deserve is entitlement language. You earn everything in life, and you should be proud to say what you've earned. So wearing that badge of Chief Everything Officer, being a Chivo, is great until this happens. You fall off the dock. Your landscaping equipment chops off your foot. You're hit by a car. What happens? You're in rehab, hospital for weeks at a time, rehab for months on end. What happens to the business?
Mm-hmm.
What happens?
Yep.
It goes away. It fails.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all of that is sad news, bad enough as it is. But now your family is in struggle. Your employees are in struggle. Your vendor partner relationships are in struggle, and you're sitting there, can't do anything. That Chivo badge is real useful in that moment, isn't it? Okay. So that's why it's so important to like move to that mindset. It doesn't have to happen overnight. You don't have to like, oh, I'm not going to take referrals. No, that's where the third pillar, complexity while looking simple, comes into play. The other two really are how you kind of reach that authority, reach that positioning, or what I call growth assets, positioning yourself in your market as the person to do business with. All right. If you can't be a celebrity like a Kardashian, you got to have authority. And how do you do that? Well, you create things that grow your business. Foundational marketing assets. We use it with our Sleep Better book, our buyer's guides, our tip sheets. For massage chairs, I just resurrected a tip sheet that I wrote 5 years ago. I did that while I was on vacation. It was an asset. We put it away because we got away from massage chairs for a few years. Now all I need to do is go back and tweak it for the current program. That's it.
Yep.
That's the power of assets. You know, so many businesses rely on their vendor partners to give them the talking points, rely on their vendor partners to justify their existence, to propagate their existence. Okay. That's a very dangerous place to be. You know, our industry is finding that out right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it used to be the name brands you absolutely had to have to succeed. And, you know, you look at my business and that just isn't the case. You look at many other businesses, it's just not the case. Not anymore. And you have to take control of the message. You have to take control of who you are in your market. And the only way you do that is to have a catalog of assets created that you use to exude and market authority, that you are the place, that you have this process. You know, I talked about getting a Wall Street payday. When you think about Shark Tank, what do they say on Shark Tank? Kevin O'Leary says it. I'll squish you like a cockroach because you don't have a patent. Nothing's trademarked and there's no process. And he says, I could come out tomorrow. I could stroke a check for $5 million and have your business shut its doors like that. Unless you commit to a different path, right? Like all those people are just a parade of chivos in front of those sharks. I mean, they're not just like little fish. They're chum thrown out in the bloody water. And those sharks just feast on them. But if you're looking for that big payday, you're going to commit to being an investor so you get that payday, you got to have a path. You've got to have assets that exude authority. You've got to be able to stake that flag in the ground and take that position. So your business isn't squish proof. Okay. We've been using, this production is awesome. Chris, thank you. Chris Stone, everybody, in the background, reminded me of some key things. Our first buyer's guide has been in use for 10 years. That's an asset I paid for once. I've used it for 10 straight years. Minimal edits over the years, but 10 straight years I've been using it. Okay. You can't rely on a vendor partner's message for 10 years anymore. Not in our industry for sure.
No.
I mean, I guess we were blessed with the life cycle of mattresses moving from 12 to 18 months to 18 to 36 months. But not 10 years. Okay. So growth assets are things that you can create, manufacture that truly do hold up your authority and your expertise. I mean, it's got to be real. Remember, I said, you got to do righteous work. And I'm very proud of people that do that. And I applaud them for it. So you can't just like make up stuff. It's got to be real. It's got to have substance. It's got to be things that your customers look for. Can't just be digital, got to be printed. And, that's the path for growth assets. It just has to exist. Otherwise, you're kind of floundering.
Jeff, I'm going to take a quick break and I'm going to read a chapter from my book. And the chapter from my book is probably the one thing that you're the very best at. It's chapter 18. And it's page 31 for you at home. Know your who. Successful marketers, and yes, if you own a business, you're a marketer, whether you want to admit it or not, know before they can even think about creating a marketing piece or campaign, they have to invest the time and energy into creating a crystal clear picture of the person they're marketing to. Do you take the time and effort to think about your who before you map out your campaign? Most marketers and business owners don't invest the time to think about their who before they begin their marketing, and the result is marketing that doesn't reach its full potential. In the previous chapter, I showed you the power of answering the question, what's in it for me? And until you know exactly who you are trying to market to, you can't answer this question. Before you start your next marketing effort, take some time. Create a profile of the person you want to respond. Where do they live? Are they married? Are they retired? Do they have kids in school? What are their hopes? What are their fears? The more questions you can ask and answer, and then use the answers in your marketing, the more effective your next campaign will be. Sounds like how you live your life, dude.
Yeah. I mean, listen, without a market, you've got nothing.
Right.
Okay. If they're not going to pay for it, if they don't want it, if they don't see how it improves their problems, their life, that helps them achieve their goals and dreams, it ain't happening. Gary Halbert, you got to have the cheeseburger for the starving crowd. If you don't have that, you got nothing.
Yep.
And I mean, Halbert's a guy to pay attention to. Gary Halbert, look him up. This is a guy that created a business, figured out how to, when you talk about market, he actually figured out a business to market to every single name in the phone book, in the white pages. Like that's impressive. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's not what we do in the mattress business. Everybody says, well, my market is everybody sleeps. I must be able to sell them something. No, nope, not at all. At least not if you want any kind of success, at least not if you're looking to move from that, Chivo moment to investor moment in the way you run your business.
You don't have a store that's big enough to address all the different segments of the market. And there is no sales system that could move people through all of that, everything. There is no sales system. It's not possible.
Right.
You need to decide who it is you're going after, and then the message what makes you different, why you're the best choice, and then the market and the message dictate the media. And so many times they get this media piece wrong because, dude, I've listened to some pretty good marketers go, well, they focus on this, on the market. Brilliant, smart. That's what we should all do. I agree. Come up with a differentiated message. That's great. And then they flip a coin and they just broadcast it out everywhere. It's like, Have you lost your ever loving mind? Seriously, you wanted me to take you seriously, but now you've just made me realize that you're a goofball.
Yeah, I mean, media is like changing daily.
Yeah.
I mean, Instagram's kind of like for old people now. TikTok's over it. I mean, like Facebook, that's what grandma and grandpa use. It's kind of a triangle, right? Market, message, media, and they all work so closely together. You can't ignore one. I'm working on an infomercial, like a full-on 30-minute infomercial for our less snore, more cuddle systems, which really is the pinnacle of the big ticket method, right? Less snore, more cuddle is a trademark thing. It is our top end offering. It is something that cannot be easily replicated, cannot be easily marketed, cannot be easily produced. Mr. O'Leary can't come in and just write a check and immediately get it done. There's a lot. It looks simple, but there's a ton of complexity to executing it and consistently selling $7,000 to $10,000 sleep systems. That's kind of the pinnacle of big ticket method. That's what gets the Wall Street paydays, is having something like a less snore, more cuddle, something that only you can do, only you can claim, only you can execute with the level of depth, complexity, yet looks so simple on the surface. That's what ends up happening here. I mean, that's the whole journey. That's the mountain hill climb. That's the rise of, or that's the way to the top of the big ticket life, to have something like that to propel your business. And if you're not focusing on connecting all the dots, market, message, media, and that, as I am in this infomercial, you miss key things. And I'm working with somebody on this script. We realize quickly as we describe each avatar in the infomercial, we're actually going to be able to just call them Mr. 1 and 2, Mrs. 1 and 2, and Mr. Mrs. 1, Mr. and Mrs. 1, 2, and 3. Because the media that we're going to use this in, we're actually going to be able to engage by just simply using comment if you're a 1, a 2, or a 3. And it was really like marketing goosebumps when we uncovered that, because it's very cool to see how the message and the media match up. But that only happens when you think about it. That only happens when you carve out time as an investor in your own business to actually work on the business intentionally, not taking phone calls, not having Facebook up, not having your wife and kids in the background. You have to have that boundary. And it's only when you get those boundaries, move from that Chivo position to investor, that you uncover the big things to squish proof the business.
That's awesome.
It's the only way it happens. So we've talked about growth assets. We've talked about creating complexity to showcase simplicity.
Yep.
And the third pillar really comes down to experiential touch points, like Dream Room that I'm sitting in now. That's one. Retail theater, as you might have heard. Can I share a story about vacation and how I was let down with
Yeah,
an experience?
absolutely. I felt bad for you, dude.
So
And you know what? Well, you go, and when you get there, I'm going to share with you some thoughts that just popped into my mind immediately. and
yeah,
obviously this guy was not thinking.
Yeah, so we reserved a boat. All right, we're on Lake Ontario. I mean, where we are, look it up, Association Island, Lake Ontario. It's an island out in the middle of Lake Ontario, at the bottom of what I think is Black Harbor Bay, the bay of Lake Ontario that goes up into the, like, between the northernmost part of upstate New York and Montreal. We were about 45 minutes from Canada where we were, so that's how far north we were in the lake. So, you know, this is tourist season. It's summer. It's the first summer after COVID. We rent a boat. My wife calls, you know, because I said, what I want to do is I want to go the day before and do like the tutorial where you got to watch the video and learn how to put the life jacket on. I want to get that out of the way. So the 8 hours is just maximum on the water, because, you know, I've been on boats. I know how to run a boat. I know the safety. I know the rules. Let's just get that out of the way. So she calls to do that, and they say, oh, well, sorry to inform you, the boat broke down a few days ago, and we can't get it running. We're not going to get it running, and you're out of luck. Okay. Now this is $500 for the day. All right. And, you know, listen, I know things break. I know it's not out of their control, but what is 100% in their control would be this. They could have decided to run their business this way. Hey, Steph, I'm sorry the boat broke down, but here's the good news. You're actually going to get to use the owner's private boat. It's actually a nicer boat. It's got a little more power. It's got a little more comfort features. We don't even really rent it out, but we use it in these situations because we understand that you're on vacation. We don't want to ruin your vacation. So come on down. It's the same price. And we'll get you all squared away for Wednesday morning. See, that's the business they could have. Okay. They're in the business of ruining people's vacations. That's the business they're in. Because that is an endpoint. That is a finality. Well, they're not in the business of making great vacations. Not for me.
No. So here's the one thing that I was immediately went through my mind. Of course, Ben's comment, you can make the reservation, you just can't hold the reservation.
Yep.
From Seinfeld. It was so good. But here's the thing. If I own that business, I'm like, I have to find a boat for this dude. Period.
Yep.
If I could find a boat for $500, great. If I got to pay $700, I'm going to do it. It doesn't matter. So there's this mindset that owners really need to get. And that is, one transaction is one transaction. Okay. But if you piss off the wrong person, one transaction can poison your freaking business. So wake up. Seriously, just wake up. Well, because you just poked this bear over here. You have no idea of how many people he knows.
Right.
And what an influencer he is. I mean, you like poked the wrong bear, dude. Well, you should have just found another boat somewhere. Even if it would have cost you more money, it still would be better than losing your next 20 customers.
Yeah. And listen, it doesn't even have to be, oh, I'm an influencer. I'm somebody that could, you know, get the worst Yelp review ever out the world's ever seen. It's not even about that. It really comes down to your commitment as a purveyor, as a merchant, as a service provider, as a retailer, whoever you are in business. What do you really do? What are you really in the business of? Are you in the business of making the exchange? Is that it? Taking the goods and services for the money? Because that's what Amazon does.
Right.
Okay. That's what they do all day, every day. They own that world. They own the customer. They own their mind. They own their life. If they're talking on their back deck about grandma's funeral that's coming up next week, what the hell ad do you think shows up in their feeds? Caskets.
Yeah.
Gravestones, flowers. Okay. Amazon owns the exchange way of doing business. They own it. That's all there is to it. How, what hubris to think you can beat that. So you can decide what business am I actually really in? I'm in the business of delivering good stuff. I'm in the business of making life-changing experiences. I'm in the business in our industry. I'm in the business of improving people's sleep so they're happier and more productive, so they live a more meaningful life, so they can alleviate, maybe eliminate their pain, maybe do something for their back that not even doctors have been able to do. I mean, honestly, if you're in the furniture and mattress business, how many of your customers have come in and say, I've had 3 back surgeries. I've probably had about $250,000 of insurance money go through my insurance company, and my back still hurts.
Yeah.
Do you step up to the challenge or you turn away from it?
Right.
What business are you really in? In the case of the boat guy, he's just into taking money, renting crappy boats.
Okay? Yeah, evidently.
My truck, unfortunately, and I have a nice 2019 F-150. He's got some transmission issues. Okay. No loaner. I've bought 3 very nice 2 Expeditions and an F-150 from this dealer. They have no loaners because car shortages are around. Okay. I get that. Okay. I fully understand that as the owner of a car dealership right now, life sucks. You've got no inventory. The inventory you do have, people don't want. I get it. Here's what they could have done. All those crappy cars that they take in on trade and they just fire out to the auctions. You think they could have kept a couple of those around? No, it's not a brand new 2020 Ford Escape, but it's transportation that gets me from A to B. And as a 3-time purchaser, having spent, I don't know, $160,000, $70,000 at their dealership, it'd be really nice that when my brand new truck lets me down, they've got a solution for me. But they're in the business of just selling new cars. They're not in the business of keeping their customers they've sold 3 times over happy. So every business owner has the exact business that they want. And it's dictated by actions they take each and every single day.
Well, let's go into extreme processes a little bit.
Yep.
In detail, because I mean, that's essentially the horse that you ride, right?
Absolutely. I mean, this is about creating complexity, showcasing simplicity. This is what process does. That's the byproduct of good process. It's complex, but it looks simple.
When you started to create your guidelines for how you're going to handle customers in various situations, did you and Ben just sit there in a room and kind of football it back and forth? Or did you bring the team together and kind of go through this stuff and then say, okay, here's what we're going to do. Here's our A, our B, and our C, and our D plan.
I mean, it's really been a combination of all of that. It was Ben and Jeff at the beginning, and then it's, the team like this, the thing I said, I looked around like trying to look for things that are wrong, and there's really nothing wrong.
That's great.
That was about putting a queen futon on the floor. I wrote to the guys, I said, guys, I've been wrong about queen futons. I've been wrong about my assessment of it. I'm using one now in the camping trailer. I love it. I love the extra room. It doesn't sit as bad as I thought it did. And I think we're doing a disservice to our customers not offering it. So let's get one out on the floor, but you tell me what you want. You tell me the frame, you tell me the mattress, you tell me the cover. All right. And, that's a little process. First of all, it was a process in that, hey, leadership isn't always right.
Right.
Okay. But the leader said, hey, I wasn't right, but I think we should still address it. How do you guys think we fix it? How do we improve the show floor?
Yep.
And again, we're off to the races. We know what we're doing, and that's that. But that's how we approach those problems. That's the process. I mean, if we're looking for more, I've got a list in front of me here. I can highlight it. I forget how much time we have allocated to our time today.
No, you usually try to finish in an hour, but we don't have to.
Okay. Chris is just rolling his eyes there in the background. Chris, we're going to go for 4 hours, 10 minutes today.
Four. Yeah, I think that'll get into some extra charges there. That's okay. It's okay.
Well, let's talk about your actual sales process. You got somebody in front of you.
Yep.
I like to call these bookends. What's your greeting? What's your closing?
Yep.
All right. And to me, this is where I'm very firm. There are things that I want to see, observe, hear, and have happen. Because if you're going to stumble out of the gate, if you're going to falter, you're probably lost a little bit. And if you can't close, if you don't know how to close, you don't have the confidence to ask, you haven't done the things to be able to ask, you're not going to close sales either. It's in that middle where you can have, in my opinion, some flexibility. Okay. But if you have great bookends, the sales will take care of themselves. All right. Customers in our industry, we are very subjective. 10 people on a firm mattress are going to give 10 different opinions. If you got a landscape, hardscape business, 10 people are going to have 10 different opinions on what their backyard should look like and how it should function. If you're in kitchen remodeling, 10 people are going to have 10 different ways they want to cook and prepare food in their kitchen. But if there's great bookends to the process, and you're firm with the expectations and you're clear on what that is, you can allow your team the leverage and the ability to inject their personality and their style into the presentation. But you got to have the start and the finish right.
Yep.
So that's the way we approach that process. And I'm not here to be your sales trainer. I'm here to say you got to have a sales process, but most importantly, you've got to have those really great bookends, the beginning and the end.
Yep.
Still my turn or your turn?
No, I thought you were going to talk about, the pathway for customers to spend more. I think that's an important piece of the selling piece. It's maybe down a few.
Yep. Well, I mean, I think, we're driving our production team crazy, but anyway, I mean, listen, I think how we approach it, first of all, as retailers, if we talk about it as add-ons, how's the customer going to greet it? If we talk about it as essential to the outcome, that the customer greets it a lot differently.
Yeah,
all
absolutely.
Right? So, showcasing in our industry adjustable bed bases, very important. Making a big effort of it. It's under every mattress in our store. It's not just under one or two. We don't make it hard to demonstrate it. We don't make it hard to experience it. It's everywhere.
Yep.
Explaining how a pillow is a part of the system and will dictate outcome and your happiness with whatever mattress you're choosing.
Yeah.
Very, very important. Having a process to fit that pillow, very important. Having a process to talk about various features in the mattress and what protectors and sheets, bedclothes, temperature of the bedroom will do to those features and benefits, namely cooling technology.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, listen, if you're somebody that's cheap on the electric bill and runs your air conditioning at 82 degrees and you kind of just sweat the summer out, cooling mattress ain't going to help you. Flies in the face of every actual scientific element of cooling technology that's out there. And to purport anything else is just, you're lying. Sorry, you're just lying to the customer, because that's just not how that stuff works. So you have to be able to showcase and demonstrate, which kind of goes to pillar 2, experiential touch points. You have to be able to showcase these things to the customer and show them how it helps them achieve their outcome they're looking for. Right? I mean, if they're just looking for a square rectangle to throw in the guest room and have the guests stay the least amount of nights possible, okay, I suppose you can help them with that. But maybe you could ask them, well, how old is your mattress? What size is your mattress? Could that mattress go in the guest bedroom? Because maybe you're tired of that mattress too, and that mattress is on the same level of experience you want to deliver to the guests you don't want to have stay in your home.
Yeah.
And you can open up a door into selling them a nice mattress. All right. So the way you treat it, the way you talk about it, the way you talk about building a ticket really is in how you think your customers are going to greet it. All right. And you have to be able to talk about it, be confident about it, and say, am what I'm selling, is this really going to improve this person's experience? Because
Right.
if it is, the sky's the limit. If you can't demonstrate that, you can't showcase that, you don't believe in it, they're just going to see it as an add-on and money grab.
Right.
It's really what it comes down to. I mean, you have to have that confidence to know and ask and understand, what are they looking for, and then deliver it.
Yep. Yep. There's no doubt about it. You know, if you were doing a sales meeting in private, you should be able to have, hey, Dan Jordan, where are you? Let me see. Your book's never far away from me because I read a little bit of it every day.
You get your daily Dan dose. Hi, Dan.
I do.
Thanks for tuning in.
Sales Proverbs, Wisdom of the Ages. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate you. What was I talking about? My butterfly flew away, Jeff.
I was just enamored that Dan Jordan tuned in. That's cool. Well, we're talking about process. I mean,
if you're doing a sales meeting and all of your best retail customers started to walk in, there shouldn't be anything that's ever said in that sales meeting that you would not be proud to repeat loudly in front of them.
Yep.
And the only time that somebody starts getting hush hush is if they think they're doing something wrong. And here's what I'm going to say to you, whoever you are. If you think you're doing something wrong, stop doing it. Dude, life's too short. Do the right thing all the time for the right reasons. And guess what? Your life is going to get a lot easier. Do the right thing all the time for the right reasons. And life gets really, really simple. Sorry, I digress.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, that's just like foundational, moral, ethical thing, right? Integrity is what you do when no one's around.
Yeah.
Well, selling integrity is how you think about, present, and do when your customers are listening and watching behind the scenes, like you just said. It's a great point. You know, you can't in a sales meeting present dark hack tactics and then go out in store hours and be the good guy. It's like it's an internal conflict that just butts heads and doesn't work. No. And customers see through it very quickly. You know.
So you know, I go to a lot of stores and I can feel the energy in a store. It started to happen when I was in my 40s. When I was in my 20s and 30s, I couldn't really feel it. I was so wrapped up in my own like stuff that I couldn't really get my arms around it. But I actually just kind of put feelers out into the space as I walk in. And I can tell you, it doesn't even matter if it's a high-end store, a low-end store. I can tell you if it's a good store to do business without even speaking to anybody. I can feel the energy. And there is a really good, positive energy. And you feel it. It's uplifting. You go, man, it feels good in here. That's the feeling I've always gotten when I come to your store. I walk to your store and it's just like, boom. And I can feel it. It's tangible. It's tangible. And dude, more times than not, I feel the other thing and it's not good. And it's like, oh man, what am I doing here?
Yeah. Well, I mean, to that point, you know, your greeting, how you greet customers, one of the bookends, right? When we talk about process, your greeting is an experience because the outcome of that is what people feel. So if you're just doing, hey, you're here for the sale today, so you need a mattress, you know.
How did you even say that, dude? I without throwing up.
I didn't eat lunch yet. But if that's what you're doing, you know, how's the customer, like they're thinking to themselves, oh my God, this is exactly what all my friends told me it would be. I should have listened to them and just ordered online like they did. Boom, stumble out of the gate, bookend shot. You're not closing the sale.
Yeah.
Because you've basically affirmed what they've been warned about by their friends and family network.
Yeah.
You know, that's why, you know, in every step in the process. And, you know, look, I feel like we're kind of like darting around, and I know we tormented Chris with a bunch of headlines. This is like 16 pages. All right. Go to thebigticketlife.com, put your name in there. I'm going to get you this report. All right. And it will be valuable. It just isn't ready to deliver to your hands today.
Can I interrupt?
Yeah.
So I've read this. It's beyond valuable. It is life-changing. It is life-changing. And the fact that this dude created it on his vacay, just all the more. It is, if you get what's in these 16 pages and you own a business, your business will be changed forever.
Well, and that's what I'm going for. I mean, let's kind of shift away from the, you know, boots on the ground stuff. I mean, here's what I see happening for Main Street business. Let me talk about why I so believe in it. Growing up as a kid, hung out with my grandparents a lot. They were very, very transformative to my life, very foundational. Sadly, I'm likely going to see my grandmother pass from Alzheimer's, and I'm not even going to be able to get to see her because of these nonsense COVID restrictions that are out there. I digress. Growing up with them as a kid, I'd go uptown. I would get the meat order from the butcher shop. I'd stop at the hardware store for my grandfather because he was always tinkering in his wood shop. I'd get ice cream, 3 different places. If little Jeffy was gone too long, the telephone tag game started to happen, and my grandmother would check in. And all those people knew me, and they'd remind me, Jeff, remember, you got to go down to the hardware store, see Bill, your grandfather. That is Americana. That is special. It's influential, and it's impactful to the community and the people in the community who live there. Now, those days on Mayberry, by and large, are gone. But it doesn't mean we can't have, as business owners, that kind of connected experiential impact one at a time with the people we do direct business with. It doesn't mean we can't do that. Okay? Just because your Main Street is decimated doesn't mean you can't still have impact with your customers on a foundational, emotional, tangible level. Changing their life, giving them a kitchen that saves their family, brings them together for family dinners. Doesn't mean you can't do that. Doesn't mean you can't create an outdoor space that brings the family together. Doesn't mean you can't sell a sofa, a living room set that makes families enjoy life together again. All of that can still exist with Main Street gone. And more. Just plug your business in. If you can deliver impact, you absolutely should. But the reality is your Chivo behaviors inhibit you and prohibit you from doing that. Because you think you got to go compete in all these areas where you don't. And that's where, you know, market message and media comes into play. That's where complex systems and process looking simple come into play. But the simple reality is, if you're not focused on delivering your very best work to everybody you can, you're letting your customer down, you're letting yourself down. And if you're going to do this thing called business and entrepreneurship, you may as well do it big, and you may as well get the rewards. And you may as well have an end goal to get a big payday. Because there's going to come a time, it's going to come a time for me when this retail game ends. And I just want to kind of tour the countryside full-time in a kick-ass RV and be able to do business from afar, be able to do business anywhere I go, anywhere I travel. Okay? Those are my dreams. That's the big ticket life I want to live. And if you as a business owner aren't focused on those things, and you're not using methodology, you're not setting the business up to achieve that, okay, again, I'm not here to begrudge you. I'm not here to say that's bad. I'm here to say, if you want that big ticket life, there is a path to get there. And I'm here to talk to you about that. I'm here to help you maybe get there. And that's what Pete, you said I've been on a creative tear. I mean, I've been on that tear really since mid-May, thinking about where I want to go, what I want to do, how I want to help people, where I want to see things. Because here's the reality of what's at play. Okay. There's my website for the Big Ticket Life. So
good.
We need to expand our storage capacity here. So we're actually blowing out a door, blowing out some of the wall in the warehouse to put a trailer up to it for some transitional warehouse space. Has anybody listening maybe ever looked at the current inventory status on 53-foot dry van trailers? Do you know, Pete, do you know the status of 53-foot dry van trailers in the United States right now?
Yep. They're all Amazon trucks now.
They are. Yep. Amazon bought every single ready to sell and has been buying it since 53-foot trailer since COVID hit. Stroke the check, bought it out. You're 6 to 9 months wait for a 53-foot trailer. I was fortunate to find one right here in our backyard. Okay. That's the level of competition you're up against as a Main Street. I mean, who would have ever thought that one company could impact a nationwide inventory of 53-foot tractor trailers? Who would have thought?
Yeah, that's scary.
Yet here we are. It's very scary. And things like that happen all the time. I mean, Amazon's gone after dentists. They do Invisalign. All right. Joe Italian Tailor down the street who used to do custom suits and shirts. That can be done online now. You know, my uncle, book publishing company. You'd think book publishing, that's safe. Nope, Amazon does it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's nothing safe. The only way to reach a safe harbor, the only way to avoid all of that is not play that game. And decide I'm going to do really good work here on Main Street. I'm going to be able to look my customers in the eye. I'm going to be able to deliver the very best work that they've ever seen. That's going to change their life. And it's going to change my life. It's going to change my family. It's going to change my income. It's going to let me live the life that I want because I've earned it. I've earned it one sale at a time, delivering the very best work that I can deliver. And my customers are going to recognize it and rave about it.
So Jeff, somebody has listened to this and they said, I want to learn more about this. The best website to go to for this is
thebigticketlife.com.
bigticketlife.com.
Yep.
And is there a box that they can put their name in, or do they just need to reach out to the contact?
Box right at the bottom.
Box at the bottom.
Yep. I don't share your information. I don't rent it because I don't like those people. All you need to do is just fill it in and you'll go to a next page and there'll be a calendar link you can click and get a call scheduled. And we'll see if big ticket methodology is a fit for you. See if you're ready to move from that Chivo mindset to investor mindset. Look at that. Chris is doing it live right now.
You got a new customer.
I know. But this mindset isn't for everybody, and that's okay. I mean, again, I'm not, this is not about, oh, Jeff says, if you have a business that, you got to work every day, but you like doing that, like that's what you feel your purpose is. Listen, more power to you. I want nothing but success for you for whatever you want to achieve. But if you would like to have a business where you've been basically since middle of June able to live this investor role life that I've been able to do, check out what I have to say, because
Awesome.
It really is freeing. And, Chris highlighted on the page, I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, but I will share it. I so believe in what we could talk about in that 30-minute call that if you think it was a waste of time, I'll donate $50 to one of my favorite animal charities in your name. This way, we at least did some good together in that time.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yep.
That's excellent. Jeff, thank you. You have over-delivered. Over-delivered like you usually do, but what what's going on with you, I don't even know how to put it into words. You've just hit some kind of a warp speed. Jim, what are you saying here, brother? Great point. If you don't provide value, they will go somewhere else. Absolutely. Thanks, Jim. We appreciate you.
Yep.
Yeah,
and
they will go somewhere else.
And I don't, I know we were kind of landing the airplane there, but Jim, it's a great point. And I think a lot of people confuse value with cheap price.
Yeah.
Okay. Value is not price. Value is the acknowledgement that what you're offering solves their problem.
Exactly.
And if you've solved that problem, they'll most likely pay any price.
Yeah. One of the easiest customers to sell in today's mattress marketplace is the customer that bought an Amazon mattress about a year ago. Easiest customer to sell anything to, because there's one thing that they know in this world that they don't want. They don't want another Amazon mattress. We bought from somebody because of price. Now show us something good.
Yep.
You hear it every day, Jeff. I know you do.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it really, it is an opportunity, for sure. Now, one of those things that people I think can make a mistake on is they'll try to present their product a little bit above, a little bit elevated, but then not really cover what's going to show up at home. Maybe the customer's upset because it came in a box and they equate a box with poor quality. Well, that's just not the case.
Yeah.
I mean, our $7,000 to $10,000 less snore, more cuddle systems come in a box. They're certainly not poor quality.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have to be able to handle a customer like that in the right way. And again, understand what value means for them.
Yep.
So that's what I would say there.
Hey, Jackie, we're going to get you on the schedule, girlfriend. Value is about providing a solution to their problem. Love that. Thank you. Oh, you've got a new fan, Jeff. Jackie.
Hi, Jackie. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. So that's where I'm at, Pete. I mean, really, I was happy to do this more just to talk about where I've been at mentally, what I've been focused on.
Yeah.
I really believe that there's value in a Main Street life as a business. I think it's terrible that a company like Amazon can stroke a check and just entirely disrupt the nation. I mean, if you take it deeper, it affects the price you pay for your groceries. It affects the price you pay for everything.
Yeah, no, it's a scary situation that it never should have got to this point.
Yeah.
So, but here we are. So let me tell you what I'm the most excited about the big ticket life, because you have been almost myopically focused on the industry, the mattress industry, and you have executed so well and done so just unbelievably well. Volume, all the things, profitability. But now what you're doing is you're branching out and you're sharing this across industries. So
yeah,
thank you.
Yeah. Well,
it's about time. You should have done it a few years ago.
Well, but, and there is a commonality that exists to the folks that I want to work with, the folks that I get excited about working with, where I feel I can deliver value. Because if you can't deliver value to anybody, why even bother? Right. So the folks that I'm excited about, and I kind of reference, kitchen remodelers, home remodelers, landscape, hardscape, motorcycle boat dealerships. Like, I've got to get a couple of those clients because, like, I love motorcycles and I do like being on the water. But if you look at, well, what's the commonality between all those kinds of businesses?
Yeah.
You do it once or twice in your life.
Yeah.
I mean, really, how many times do you actually go deep into remodeling your kitchen? Maybe once, maybe twice.
Yeah.
Motorcycles you might buy more of, but it's certainly it's not a service business like a grass cutting company where the whole name of the game there is service contract. Okay.
Right.
It's not like that. So I feel my value is in the creative process. That's one of my biggest strengths. And layering that over, the way you market your company with the growth assets, the way you put in these touch points in the experience, and really the way that process works, creating the complex, but making it look simple. That creative process overlaid on those three verticals is what frames big ticket methodology. And it's what gives that big ticket life to these business owners. It's what ultimately lets them showcase their very best value, their very best solutions, their very best abilities to their customers. Because if they can't do that, they have no reason to exist. And I certainly don't have a reason to exist. But if I can help them work back up through the flow to their final customer, that's what I really hope to do. And be able to give people the opportunity to live that life, to be present with their families, with their kids, not be stressing about income, not be stressing about the future, but have some stability and really work towards that big payday. I mean, listen, not everybody's going to have something that can be trademarked. Not everything's going to have something that can be patented. But gee whiz, if you could do every single step along the way right up to that point, you're going to change your life.
Yeah.
You're going to change your business.
Yeah.
And that's a righteous journey to take. And if I can help people along that, then that's what I want to do. That's who I'm here to serve.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
Jeff, thanks. Thanks
Pete,
for coming
thanks for
on.
having me.
Take care.
Yep.
And with that, goodbye, everybody. And thank you guys for chipping in with your comments and your thoughts. We appreciate you.